Okay, hi, hello. Today I want to talk a little bit about something called the MeanJS stack. MeanJS, let's go to this website where I found it originally. Mean basically stands for Mongo, Express, Angular and Node.js, and it's become one of the popular frameworks for building web applications. I want to explain a little bit about what it is, and then install it locally, and then show you how you would install it on Bluemix. There's some couple of changes that you need to the files. Then I want to create a repository on our Bluemix DevOps website. And then I want to show you a feature, and a fairly recent new feature in DevOps called Live Edit. Okay, so this is MeanJS.org. If you look at it uses a generator to build the skeleton code. So the skeleton is called the Yo generator. Fairly standard stuff to install. Of course, you need npm already installed on your machine, the Node.js package manager. So I've done this already. Npm install -g. The -g means that it's global, so it's not just in the current directory that you're in. You also need to install the generator -meanjs, and then this is the bit we'll start from here. So if I open up a terminal, call my project MeanJS test 24. Okay, so I run the generator. What I like to call the application, I'm going to call it, it's a project I'm working on at the moment. For company, just accept the defaults. We can change these afterwards. Company name. I don't type in for this because I don't want to generate the boilerplate article CRUD module. I'm going to add some modules myself. Now that the code is generated, over here I've installed MongoDB. MongoDB is running locally, so we need to install MongoDB locally. And then if I do grunt, it should start up. MeanJS is the application started on 3000. So let's have a look at it. Okay, we can see we have the application, so it's running locally. Okay, next thing I want to do is go back to the command line. Stop that. So there's a few files I need to edit, so let's open Sublime. Let's just maybe explain a little bit about the layout of the skeleton code. So as I said at the very start, this is based on MongoDB. It's the backend database. Node.js and Express, the Express template, that basically is going to act as your your backend service. So if you have any REST-based services that you want to put in your application, I suggest you put them in there. So Node.js and Express are looking after the backend. The front end, and this basically happens here. So anything under app, we have our controllers, model. You can see it's the MongoDB is using Mongoose. The roots, the very basic views. But as I said, Node.js, Express, and MongoDB are basically doing your backend. So on the front end, the AngularJS code is stored under public. So these are all the AngularJS modules that generate the skeleton code that's generated. Core and end users. The first thing we want to edit, of course, is so the package JSON file, because we want to run it on Bluemix. Grunt isn't installed on the build pack that actually builds Node.js. It doesn't install Grunt, so you will need to change the start script to be node server.js. Next thing we change is we go to the config directory, the general config. We want to add in some lines here. To extract the MongoDB URL and make that available. Let's just find out if we go into the URI we want. This is used in production, but we'll put this in here as well. This is in development, so normally it would be connecting locally to your MongoDB. We've added this extra little bit in the config and development JS file. Save that. Let's go back to the general config. So we want to then populate that with recap that. Let's have a look at our open up Bluemix. We need this for later on. So later on, when we deploy this application, we will need to bind or create a MongoDB service. And that MongoDB service, the URI for that particular service, will be stored in vcap services. So we use some JavaScript here to basically extract that the URI, and we're storing it in the environment variable process.env.mongolab URI, which will be read in turn by the development.js. Something else that I've added is the code later on. it uses this node underscore env environment variable to detect if it's in development or not. We could set this also, rather than setting this. No, it's not a good idea. We can set this actually from the environment variable through Bluemix. So we'll do that. It's a better way of doing it. Okay, so another change I also want to do is, so we need to delete the proc file. This, for some reason, when I show you the live edit later on, it caused a problem with the live edit. Then the final bit of editing that we need to do is, if we look at app, views, this is the main page that is displayed here. So at the bottom there is a piece of JavaScript listening on this particular port. This times out on Bluemix, so I remove that. Okay, so that's pretty much all the changes. Next thing I want to do is zip up those files, so zip-r recursively into an archive. I then want to take that zipped file, I want to create on Bluemix DevOps, so the URL is hub.jazz.net. I want to create a new project, and let's call it create a new repository, the Git repository. I want to have it on Bluemix. I'm going to make this a Bluemix project because I want it to be able to deploy from within my DevOps environment. I do create. Now that my project has been created, click on Edit Code. And do the file import the zip file. Ask me to unzip it. Okay, so the code, the archive.zip has been uploaded. So here we have our project and the code that's uploaded. Something I forgot to mention that's quite important. When you run or when you generate the code, Grunt, it creates a node underscore modules directory. You should delete that before you actually upload your code, because otherwise the archive is about 60 megs, so it's too big, and it doesn't need to be put under source control. When the project gets deployed, the node underscore modules directory and all the dependencies get generated by the the node build pack for Bluemix. Okay, so that's something that's important to note. Okay, now we're going to from here we're going to launch our application from within DevOps. Now it will fail because, let's go on to Bluemix. It will fail startup because we don't have a MongoDB service attached to the application. Here we can see it's beginning to being started. We'll add the service here. Let's look for Mongo. Let's use the application. While this is happening, it's worthwhile doing a CF using Cloud Foundry command line logs T24-L just to check the actual status of the build pack. See what's basically happening here. So we can see the output from the build pack. Just keep using this command. Okay. So we can see I've turned on live edit. And we've got the application up and running. I actually made a mistake in the piece of code in config. I didn't put in the JSON.parse. You need this because this is a string, so you need to return a JSON script object, and then you can actually get the URI. So when I was doing a CF log, it was showing me that I wasn't connecting to the database. So now, okay, it's up and running. So let's have a look at some of the live edit features here. Okay, so we can see there's a few things. Let's open the debug tool.